Yes, I'd love to introduce him. So I'm really glad to introduce Dr. Bob Stecker. His discussion today is going to be about becoming an elder. His business is transition guidance, and he's been in the profession of bringing out answers from within clients for about 61 years. Other jobs he's been involved with, he was a U.S. Army officer. He's a theater director. He's been a university professor and a marriage and family therapist. As far as accomplishments and credentials go, he's gotten awards for pioneering Houston's Association of Marriage and Family Therapists. His spouse is deceased. He has 3 children. If any of those are boys, they might be SOB, Sons of Bob. He has 7 grandchildren. 3 of them were born the same year. I understand how that works. No animals at this time, but when it comes to hobbies and things he likes to do in his spare time, he really enjoys his grandchildren's athletic events. In fact, his oldest grandson is possibly drafted by the Los Angeles Angels. And also, it's worth mentioning he enjoys church activities. He's lived in Houston for 47 years, and his burning desire is to begin the 10th decade of his life. Something that people don't know about Dr. Bob is that in the year 2000, his grandchild count went up 150%.
How's that for results?
And among his many keys to success, his 87 years of experience and his love for BNI.
No. It's not my love for BNI. It's BNI's love to me.
Well said. Dr. Bob Stecker.
Good morning. What I want to talk today about is the coming together of 2 things. And part of it is all the fault of Lamar Curtis. He has pointed out to me that I worked in a way I didn't realize and had skills that I wasn't claiming. And that is that part of it is intuition, and I've set before you my book on intuition. Please read it. It's lots of fun. And if you already have a copy, give it to someone else. And the other thing, and this is also courtesy of Curtis, courtesy of, yeah, anyway, is that I am an elder, and it has to do with more than age. An elder is a person who has had lots of life experiences, and those life experiences have moved from blossoms to fruit. And so I enjoy sharing that fruit with my clients. And so that's what I'd like to talk about, because I didn't realize something happens when people are around me. And it's not because I don't shower, but it's somehow things happen to people around me. I found out recently, I thought I was so brilliant in my office. I have a pad of paper, a legal pad, and I noticed clients taking lots of notes, and I thought, isn't that brilliant? I'm saying these wonderful things. And I asked a client, and they said, no, we're not taking down what you said, but you trigger ideas. So if you want to trigger people's ideas, send them my way. But the import of discovering my influence, again, thank you, Curtis, is that now with Curtis's company, I am a resident elder. And if you could say just a couple of words of how that's important to your company, I would be eternally grateful until next Tuesday.
So it's fairly simple. I think he's right. When you have spent time with Dr. Bob, there's something magical that happens, and it just happens. It doesn't. It's not a specific design. It's not specific words. And so that seemed to me a perfect place to allow him to be part of IAG. And it has manifested itself. We did a strategic planning at the end of last year, and on the strengths board, when we did our SWOT analysis, at the top of the page was Dr. Bob. I didn't write it up there. One of my employees wrote it up there. And so he has worked with a lot of my staff, some of them through very, very complicated, difficult issues, and some of them just because they needed to find kind of a center place for them to be successful. And it has drastically changed our ability to be both a team and a family. So thank you.
Thank you.
He's now showing up every Friday for our staff meetings as well. It's just,
And I'm open to other organizations that want the brilliance that Curtis has engendered through me. Thank you.
Can you speak Vietnamese?
Pardon me?
Can you speak Vietnamese?
Can I do what?
Can you speak Vietnamese?
Not that I understand, although I may. But I come here, sitting here, because of life experience. And two things have been very important. One is my training as a marriage and family therapist, which was lovely, except I did not wish to look at the world the way the therapist looks, which is what's wrong with this picture and how can we get it back to where it should be. I would rather look for what's right with a picture and how do we clone it? How do we push that to places where you have concern? But the most important is my quarter century as a theater director. And I understand 5 minutes. Four.
And then we'll save a couple for questions.
Okay. As a theater director, I'm used to directing plays. Every day, clients come in my office, they have scripts they're living. It's my task to help them live those scripts more productively and that really enrich them. So that's how I got to be here. My practice is interesting. First of all, the client calls me. The client has to call me. I'll go into details, anybody wants to hear about that. Secondly, they come in and we sit and talk and decide whether we want to work together. It's a mutual thing. Then they usually sign up for a 6-month time of working through a transition. They sign a letter of agreement, which the lawyers will tell you is not worth the paper it's written on. But it is a commitment, and we charge the same per month, and that's beautiful because the client then isn't looking at the clock or at their checkbook, and they can come in for as much as they want. I've had clients come in 3 times a week. Others come in less frequently. So that's what I do, and I really love this work, and a very important part of my practice is the love that is in this room that I feel from this group, and that's what keeps me going. Yes,
Based on my comment, can I give a testimony?
please.
So probably some of the really tenured members might know about this because I might have mentioned it before, or if we're friends, I might have mentioned it. But in addition to people going and visiting with Dr. Bob when they may have some issues that might be under duress, they could be going through a difficult time. I found one of my greatest experiences with him was about 15 years ago, and it was when something really good was occurring. So I want to remind everybody that it's, as he said, it's not just difficult times, but it's really any time of change. And where he was able to help me as a single man, there's a period in those that do what I do for a living where they have a ramp up period. And it's not unlike any others in this group. So I've gone through an experience of from one year to the next year, probably more than tripling my income. And I was kind of looking around and looking for an additional foundation in addition to the one that my parents had given me and some of my other mentors. So to have an unbiased person to talk to about how to handle that was instrumental for me at that age where I was about probably 29, 30 years old. So I just wanted to mention that as a good option for when good things are going on, but it's a lot.
Thank you. I've said my say. Are there any other questions? Yes.
I have a comment on the process. So sometimes it may seem difficult to recommend Dr. Bob because people are hesitant, and it's a very personal kind of thing. So what I have done, and I do this with my staff, because not everybody will go see him, but many people will. I say, go talk to him just for a little bit. There's no, you're not obligated, you don't have to work with him, but it might just be worth a quick conversation with him. And 9 out of 10 times, it's infectious, and so they come back on, yes, I definitely want to work with him. I mean, and so that's how you get somebody in front of him and say, this man has a perspective on life that the rest of us do not have. He has the ability to see what the world is about and what life is about from a point of view that hopefully all of us will be able to at some point, but he's already there. And it's non intrusive, and it's also, I don't know what you call it, but it's a perspective when it comes to counseling of, let's see what we can do to accent the strengths. He's not there to fix your problems. He's there to bring out the things that you have inside of you already that are your strengths. It's a very different kind of counseling from a lot of other counseling.
Yes.
I'll also make a comment to that. One thing that is hard is to kind of suggest to someone, maybe you should talk to somebody. And one thing that Dr. Bob has said to me in the past that has really helped is to say, look, I don't know if he could help you, but I know that he's helped a lot of people in the past, or a lot of my clients in the past. So it might be worth just to sit down. So, he's helped some people in the past with this type of situation. I don't know if it'll help you, but it might be worth your time. And that has really been a much better approach.
Yeah, I suggest people that you want to refer to me really take a dubious approach. I don't know whether this guy knows what he's talking about, but so that works bestest. Yes.
Yeah, and I practiced, I think one of the most significant effects I've ever seen from Dr. Bob's work is a person that I had referred to Dr. Bob, who, in my coaching experience, just kept, I've mentioned this before in here, but kept hitting the same wall of unforgiveness about a parent. Dr. Bob, and
Uncle Bob.
he's like my uncle. And they worked with him, and it was just amazing that they totally forgave this person in their parent in their life, and moved on, and were able to have a healthy, happy relationship that seemed impossible. And so I just think it's miraculous sometimes what can happen when someone takes that step and just says, okay, I'll go see him.
Thank you, yes.
That's our time.
That's it,
Okay.
until, for another 6 months, you can have peace with your speakers.
Thank you, Dr. Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna take some time now